with just a few days to go until Revolution. Tony Khan formatted the show really fucking strangely. The matches went on way too long. MJF and Danielson only had a few minutes to hype the Iron Man match. Oh fuck. Man, I couldn't believe what Danielson said to MJF just before the show went off the air. He said, "There's one thing you deserve, it's your fiance leaving you. My God, what a shot to go to Rampage and then Revolution." I'm John Rant with my review of AEW Dynamite from the historic Cow Palace in San Francisco, California, and this is the Go Home Dynamite for Revolution, a pay-per-view that they want U.S. customers to pay $50 American for. My predictions for Revolution will come up at some point either just before Rampage or sometime after Rampage. One quick note, because of a schedule change, I was able to watch this show live. And man, what a week I picked. What a week I was able to be lucky enough to watch this show live. This is like a bad episode of WCW Thunder. Like, this was the Go Home Dynamite, their flagship show that has been on the air for more than 3 fucking years. And yes, the pandemic and all the stuff and everything, and they've had injuries and they've had some issues, and Tony Khan is running around like a chicken with his head cut off. They just recently shot the Ring of Honor tapings at Universal Studios for a while, and I know that they're stretching themselves thin. They only do 5 pay-per-views a year if they do another AEW versus New Japan Forbidden Door, that is. This was a go-home show? Goodness goddamn me, they just threw in the goddamn towel from the beginning. Anyway, so the crowd apparently, according to WrestleTix on Twitter, by the way, great account to follow. They are usually very on the ball when it comes to, the amount of tickets sold and the capacity and the seating arrangements and everything. 4,500 people. Apparently that was the capacity set up for the Cow Palace. The historic Cow Palace, going all the way back to big time wrestling with Roy Shire, the Battle Royals, Pat Patterson, Ray Stevens, so many other great talents that have traveled through there. Bruno Sammartino wrestled in that place. Andre the Giant, so many talents. And 4,500 people there. 4,500 people was the capacity, even if they opened up some of that stuff, maybe 5,000. Now, the crowd at times was a little bit loud, and the permanent seating capacity is about 10,100 fans. It can be expanded to 16,500. My God, for going into the California market and being in San Francisco for, being in California in general for Revolution, and they're going to have a live Rampage it's going to be either in this building or it's going to be in the same building that they're having Revolution in, which I believe is the Chase Center that holds about 3,000 more people. I hate to harp on it, but yes, Tony Khan, he could just throw money around like crazy and everything, but this isn't good. Granted, this show really wasn't anything to write home about, but man, Orange Cassidy versus Big Billy Willie for the All Atlantic Championship with Stokely. Stokely cast away, yeah. Yeah, this is how they started. They started with the All Atlantic Championship last week with Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta. Those who like Orange Cassidy, that's great. Those who don't, I'm in that camp. I have nothing personal against him. I don't want him injured. I don't want anything bad to happen to the guy, but I don't care for his shtick. It's old. It's tired. It's stale. It wasn't good to begin with, again, in my opinion. This was garbage. This was goddamn garbage. They set up a table, a chokeslam, no DQ, apparently. Apparently, it reminds me of Jesse Ventura and Tony Schiavone arguing at SummerSlam 89 when Ultimate Warrior hit Rick Rude with a chair outside the ring. Well, it's outside the ring. So what? What are you going to tell me next, Schiavone? You could shoot someone as long as you're outside the ring? You're worse than Gorilla, and I thought he was an idiot. Schiavone is also on this show. And I like Schiavone. I just always find that exchange funny. But later, Danhausen shows up and gets it with the cast. This isn't the only time Stokely uses the cast. Orange Punch 1, 2, 3. Over 15 minutes into the show for this. Are you fucking serious? I really cannot see the ratings being very good for this. I know the ratings are... I want AEW to continue to rise up and everything, and I enjoyed the show I went to in Seattle. They've been all over the goddamn map. It is frustrating to watch them waste, cable television like this with matches that may pop some of the fans, but like you could only draw 4,500 people in the Cow Palace. And you give them this? Moxley was bleeding in a stairwell last week because it's the day that ends in white. I'm sure the janitorial staff loved that. Now, Moxley was fired up and everything. Moxley can cut a pretty good promo. And if Moxley didn't blade every goddamn day that ended in Y, and didn't bleed every goddamn day that ended in Y, every hour of a day that ended in Y, especially when he's in a professional wrestling ring, I might care. At this point, I'm kind of sick of Moxley. He was hyping up the match with Hangman Adam Page. And then the Elite show up. And the House of Black proved that they are sick of Kansas' wayward son being butchered. And they attack them and take the Trios Championships. And then we go to Samoa Joe immediately coming out while the Elite are getting taken away. And then we go to a DraftKings spot. It's nice that the House of Black are in cahoots with the lighting crew to pull this off. So, the first of two messes of... two matches that were complete goddamn messes. Complete goddamn atrocities. Crimes against wrestling as far as I'm concerned. Face of the Revolution ladder match. For a TNT title shot next week. Either they face Samoa Joe or Wardlow. This isn't even a knock against most of the talents in this match. But it's AR Fox, Commander, who I've never heard of. Commander with a K. Tomorrow belongs to me. Oh, wrong Commander. Ortiz, Sammy, Eddie, Action Andretti, Hobbs, and Takeshita. So, you grab the Sonic Nuva ring, you grab the brass ring, and you win. Maybe if they didn't overdo the ladder match concept, and this goes for both big American companies, then I might actually care. And besides Sammy, because Sammy can kick rocks for all I goddamn care. He keeps doing stupid shit to himself. I'm not going to care if the guy's walking by the age of 35 because it's his fucking fault. But Eddie didn't want to be part of this. I mean, he cut a promo. I mean, I'm sure it was a work. Hopefully it worked. Hopefully Eddie's doing all right. Eddie and Ortiz fight off. They fight off. So now it becomes a 6-person ladder match. Hobbs was way over because it's near his hometown. And that's good. Good. Good on Hobbs for getting, cheered. Even though he's a heel, whatever. Hobbs is really cool. He got a big reaction when he was part of the AEW Dark Elevation tapings in Seattle because Hobbs is a beast and a hell of a talent. They should be featuring him better. But Joe did his best to make this work. Commander did some cool dives and everything. Of course, he did one splash where he practically shattered his goddamn ribs on AR Fox and on the ladder. AR Fox got thrown into the ladder by a DVD by Hobbs. Commander walked the ropes impressively and did a dive and everything, and everybody just waited there for about 15 goddamn years. Everybody just kept doing spots. All these people taking all these risks for a match that virtually nobody's gonna remember in a week. Because they do this all the goddamn time. They do these matches with such frequency that even cool spots, even spots where you're like, holy shit, doesn't matter. That Sammy Cutter that he did to Cody in Cody's last match last year. How soon afterwards were they doing ladder matches? Were they doing stuff that instantly made that spot forgettable? Now even Commander doing some cool shit, and he did. I have no idea who Commander is. Never heard of him. Good on him. He got to shine here. The crowd was popping, and if you like this match, that's fine. And then at one point, Garcia attacks Action Andretti because Daniel Garcia is going to be forever cemented as just a flunky. Like, seriously, at this point, they might as well just have flunky tattooed across his goddamn chest. Sammy then breaks his back doing a swanton because nobody cares about Sammy anymore. Hobbs ends up having the ref hold the broken ladder down, including Rick Knox, the guy that basically was resurrected from King Tut's tomb, and does that, and Hobbs eventually wins the goddamn thing. Now, great on Hobbs. Good for him. He stares down Joe. Wardlow tries to attack. Joe powders. Wardlow attacks a bunch of security and powerbombs one security guard onto a whole bunch. There are elements that could work with this roster and with these shows, and they just keep messing up and making it bad WCW or bad ECW instead of focusing on the good parts. So anyway, Renee is with the best friends. They are not medically cleared, so Danhausen and Orange Cassidy are going to be part of the Casino Tag Team Battle Royal match. Yay! Jericho took on Peter Avalon. I didn't recognize Peter Avalon with shorter hair. And Peter Avalon jump starts, hits some moves, and Jericho hits a code breaker. This is on their go-home show for a pay-per-view. Yeah, Rampage, but live or Memorex, it's not really going to matter. And And here's Starks. And then Jericho Appreciation Society attack, and the crowd is chanting, "Fuck your bat." Jericho at this point is dragging down anything that he is involved in on AEW programming. Commentary, matches, promos, even simply existing on the roster. Hangman is in some stable, apparently. I guess he's looking for a stable environment. I guess he's not horsing around. I guess he's, hey, I didn't really have a pun there. I kind of screwed that one up. Maybe he's looking for a needle in a haystack. Moving on from that. This is Texas Death. You either live or you die. Technically true of anything, really, regardless of a match. And, yeah, Hangman at his best is not bad on promos and actually is a pretty good worker. I don't really care about seeing it because Texas Death matches have been done to death in this company. Because Texas Death, street fights, tornado tags, just get the weapons out. Just take the ring away and just let them beat each other up and pin each other on the floor. You might as well. I do like AEW at its best. I've enjoyed some AEW programs. I've enjoyed some pay-per-views. And at their best, they present a great alternative to the stale, stagnant environment of bigger companies that do wrestling, that are purported to be wrestling companies. And then they get messy like this. Now, that being said, this is a little more dialed back. Renee brings Christian Cage down. We get shut the fuck up chance. He talks about Jungle Boy, oh. And how he wants to win a title that irks him. Your generation basically treats my business like a video game. I treat it like an ATM. This Sunday, let's have a fight with no rules, as opposed to the other matches they have on pay-per-views. If Rick Knox is a referee, and suddenly, we, after Christian mentions Jungle Boy's dad, again, the Hollywood good looks, lights out, again, we cut to Jungle Boy digging a grave, Christian Cage's grave. Are we going to have an impromptu buried alive match announced literally days before a pay-per-view? Tony, you could be smarter than this. Take your head out of the snowman's globe. There you go. So, Shivani is with Jamie and Britt. I would like to be with Jamie, but I digress. Jamie is captivating, and she's going to be a great champion. Please let her retain the championship after this Sunday. About Saraya, defender of Abuserverse, and Ruby. Hook took on Matt Hardy with Ethan, Isaiah, Cassidy, and Stokely. Stokely eventually revealed the fact, by the way, FTW Championship match. 1. Matt Hardy cannot move. Stokely took his cast off, proving this Stokely castaway was actually just a gimmick. And Hook ends up winning with the Red Rum. Now, this match went on longer, and any Matt Hardy match on my television screen makes me wish that he had retired years ago. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to make money, but he's going to get to where he's not going to be walking. He's going to be walking even worse than he is now. So, it's now Hook versus Stokely in a no DQ match. They didn't decide whether it's going to be on the pay-per-view or on Dynamite. If they said it, I tuned it out. And Stokely, I realize, is the same height whether he's sitting down or standing up. So, now we get to the House of Black vignette, and basically they have the Trios Championships, and Julie says, "See you this Sunday." Okay. That match is going to be a car crash. Tony with Saraya, defender of Abuserverse, and I will continue to say that about Saraya, slinky neck dumb twat, who wanted to pick a fight with Taryn, Skinny Mysterio. Dude, I'm going to paraphrase a line that Waltman said about somebody, and I'm just going to twist it and basically say, you don't come after Skinny Mysterio, a.k.a. Taryn, because she will fuck you up because she don't give a shit. Taryn's not watching this. Taryn has better things to do than watch videos, but I just want to say, shout out Taryn for always being real and not giving a fuck. So her name is Riho, and she has doilies on her hands and on her outfit, and I can't take her seriously. Riho isn't bad in the ring. It's almost comical, though, looking at her and others and everything, and the fact she was the first ever AEW Women's Champion. I'm sorry. It still bothers me. Nyla should have been the first champion, or you should have picked somebody that actually could have been believable, because Riho wasn't. Nyla was right there. Keep your transphobic bullshit out of the comments, by the way, or otherwise you're going to be gone. Anyway, Saraya interferes. Jamie and Britt show up. And this felt off. We get a roll-up, 1, 2, 3, after a miscommunication where Tony gets distracted, by Tony, or Tony gets distracted by Tony. Too many Tonys. Pal gets distracted by Britt. And then a roll-up by Riho. I did note I would take that hip attack from Tony multiple times and not flinch. I would also probably be out at some point and it would be worth it. Melee, Ruby's here. We get a three-way fisting, just like we're gonna get on Sunday, except we have to pay to watch this three-way fisting. Boy, Jamie Hayter better retain. I mean, if Ruby manages to pin Saraya, I'm all for that, but don't pin Jamie. Jamie should actually continue her championship run. Keith and Dustin are backstage. They once were. Casino Battle Royal match. I'm just going to tell you the teams that were in this. Dark Order, Claudio and Yuta, Russian 10, Lucha Bros, Aussie Open, 2.0 or wherever the hell they're called now. Top Flight, The Kingdom, Danhausen and Orange Cassidy, Butcher and the Blade. You know who won? Danhausen and Orange Cassidy. Just take a shit on the tag division. Why don't you, Tony? That I already was on the fence about the four-way match anyway because of Lethal and Jarrett being involved, and now you have this. My God, Jeff Jarrett is the best worker in a match on pay-per-view in 2023. What the heck? And that's not knocking Jarrett, but Jesus Christ, I feel bad for Dean Malenko is what I noted with this video package. On MJF and Danielson, you had JR, you had others weigh in, and Dean Malenko talked about technical wrestling. I just feel bad for him. I feel really bad. So he has Parkinson's. I feel so bad for him. I really do. Because he has such great knowledge to pass along and everything, and I'm sure people respect him, and I respect him. I just feel so bad for the guy. Renee was with Danielson. We have 5 minutes left, by the way. We have 5 minutes left. So MJF shows up after Danielson fires up a bit. And he, with 3 minutes left, he basically talks about, oh, this is what you think you deserve. I had this, or whatever. If there's one thing you deserve, it's that your fiance, left you. Your fiance leaving you. Ooh. Then I'm going to kick your fucking head in. And they edited that out and everything. And that's it. That was the Go Home Dynamite for Revolution. See, I tear my notes up, but it's not worth it. This is actually kind of cathartic because... Look, AEW can put on some good television. It has put on some good pay-per-views, even if they've been overly long. This was a garbage Dynamite. That was cool what Danielson said. Danielson and MJF made the most that they could, even though Danielson was the one fucking talking. But, goddamn, I mean, if you're not sold on watching Revolution, if you weren't sold on watching Revolution a couple weeks before this, I don't know how this show sold you on it. I bought it because I review every AEW pay-per-view, but goodness me. Agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.